Lumintop has sent to me a new flashlight, the SD26. But first of all I want to show to you the Lumintop Prince Copper that I got about 2 months ago. It developed already a patina. The patina is not an rust, it is an oxidization from touching it. This is before, and this is when it developed already a bluish brownish patina. Now this is the SD26 and it's basically an upsized SD Mini. This one is the SD Mini and this one the SD26. And obviously beside the size, the biggest change of it is that it got also a different battery. The SD26 uses a 26650 lithium ion battery. And those batteries have around 5000 lumen, have around 5000 milliamps. So that is significant more. And a few minor changes also. For example, you have one of those moonlight modes in the SD26 that you doesn't have in the SD Mini. But beside of this, it's almost the same shape and everything. It got here the side switch, but both don't have a tail switch. And both flashlights have here the USB charging port. The SD26 doesn't have a belt clip, but actually I don't miss that belt clip too much because I never used it in the SD Mini. I just simply put it in a pocket and that's about it. Now let's check out the different types, different modes of this flashlight. It works in the same way like the SD Mini. One time you push the side switch and it turns on. And now by pushing it you can cycle through the different modes. This one here is the moonlight mode. And then you push and come to the low mode, medium, high and turbo. And now back to moonlight. If you want to switch it off, you simply have to press the button for about 2 seconds and it turns off. Now if you want to go into the special modes, then you have to push the button for 3 seconds when the flashlight is turned off. So you come to stroboscope mode. Now with a single push you switch to SOS. And another push on the button will switch to beacon mode. And back to stroboscope. Now push the button for about 2 seconds and it turns off. So pretty much the same like the SD Mini. I personally like the idea of a larger battery. This flashlight is now not so much an EDC flashlight anymore since it's larger and heavier, but an 18650 lithium ion battery will drain relatively fast. Of course, lithium ion batteries have a lot more power than the old school NEMH batteries, but with those powerful LEDs they drain still relatively fast, and if you are out camping or something, an 18650 battery might not last. And with 5000 milliamps it will last a lot longer. And that's a good idea if you go out camping or something. One thing that I noticed with those rubber seals of those USB charging ports, not only with this flashlight or this brand, but often they are relatively dry and you have problems to squeeze them in. But of course you want them in proper position or else they are not waterproof. Maybe you can see that here. It's a little bit hard to squeeze it completely in here in this area. So normally those rubber seals, they should be greased. And you can use like Vaseline or stuff, but actually the proper grease will be silicone grease. So my tip or advice, if you have like flashlights or other stuff with O-ring seals and so on, you should have a small container of silicone grease. That stuff is used for a long time already in scuba diving. So you should find that in dive schools and online on eBay or Amazon. The same applies to the O-ring seals of the flashlights. They should be cleaned and greased from time to time. I can show that on the SD Mini, for example. If you check out this flashlight here, the seal, you can clearly see that it is dirty. So you should clean it and grease it from time to time. The only problem is that you actually have to remove the O-ring for it to do it properly. And most people, they end up poking around with the tip of a knife and damaging the O-ring. So my tip is actually that you use one of those dentist tools. You simply have to hook underneath with the tip, then you can simply remove it without any damage to the O-ring. And now just simply clean it up. And just put some grease on it. And put that O-ring back on. What is relatively easy compared to removing it. And now it's all properly greased and sealed again. So I think it's time to check out these two flashlights in the dark. The SD26 in low mode, medium, high and turbo. In comparison to it, this one is the SD Mini. For me that looks almost the same. The SD26 is a little bit less focused than the SD Mini. And here the stroboscope mode, SOS, and beacon mode. Upsides and downsides of this flashlight. It is bigger and heavier than the SD Mini, but therefore you have a bigger battery and a lot more battery power than the SD Mini. Beside of these obvious things, I found it a little bit of a disadvantage that you cannot access the moonlight mode separately. So that means if you are out camping and you turn off the flashlight, you probably want to set it to moonlight or low mode. Or otherwise, if you turn it back on, you have to cycle through all of the modes, including turbo mode, to go back to moonlight. Another thing that I noticed is that the side switch button is relatively high compared to the SD Mini. So you might have the problem that it turns on in your backpack by itself. But somebody obviously thought about this already, and this flashlight has a lock mode. You need to turn it to moonlight, and then you have to press the side switch for more than 8 seconds, and it will turn to lock mode. And it will flash a few times and show that it is locked. So now the flashlight is locked and it will not turn back on. The only way to unlock it is you have to unscrew the tail switch. Now put it back on and the flashlight will work as usual. Bottom line is they are both great flashlights and I can recommend them to you. The SD Mini is more of an EDC flashlight, and the SD26 I would use that for camping and outdoor stuff in general. As always, thank you for watching and please check out the other videos on my channel and I see you in the next one.